So, I mean, let's go across the pond, and you have to admit the royal family is not what it used to be. Think Meghan Markle and Princess Harry, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, were whining about South Park, the American comedy series, making fun of them, and they didn't do anything about it. So think about it. Queen Elizabeth faced down Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, and the royal family now can't even stand up to Eric Cartman. Now, in other big news, I got an Alexa. No, not a mail-order bride, not an inflatable love doll, but a personal assistant from Amazon. And, like everyone, I'm a little worried about everything that big tech is learning about me. So I finally asked Alexa, should I worry about everything that Google, Uber, Facebook is learning about me? And Alexa replied, I knew you were going to ask me that. And then I came to find out that the reason Alexa knows so much about me is that she's having so many affairs with Amazon drivers and Amazon pilots that they have her listed as a fulfillment center. Take your time. So with that, I'm telling you, things are bad at home. The only action I get below my belt line is from a butt dial. I wouldn't have a sex life unless I set my cell phone on vibrate and put it in my front right pocket. But it looks like that party's going to end. I got a new cell phone. The first text I got was from the service provider, and it said from now on they just wanted to be friends. My wife, she got her new cell phone. The first text she got was from Amazon, saying as a result of everything she's doing with so many of their pilots and so many of their drivers, they now have her registered for a work-from-home position. Now, I tried to fix things, but, a friend said, you should take your wife to a romantic B&B where you've never been. So I pulled up 5 romantic B&Bs I'd never been to before, and I checked out, and my wife gave them 3 5-star reviews for her most recent visits. But Alexa came through for us. She recommended a counselor who was very big on communication. So the first thing the counselor said is that, your wife needs to talk dirty to you during sex. My wife said, well, I tried to do that, but I couldn't get cell phone reception from the hotel room I tried to call from. He said, the next thing is your wife needs to tell you the next time she has an orgasm. And my wife said, well, for that to happen, I'd have to join her OnlyFans club. And she said the third thing to try is, go to have sex in a room where the lights are not on, so you just focus on the touch and things because you can't see. Well, that seemed to be working because, there was a lot of passionate scratching and a lot of playful biting, but then when we turned the light back on, it turns out the scratch marks and the bite marks came from the screws sticking out of the IKEA furniture. And then Alexa said, so we're going to go with the last option, and the last option is what I call the Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee option, where you film yourself making love and we enter it in a contest with the others. So we did that. I was not real optimistic because she was very quiet and very inert, but guess what? 3 good things happened. First piece of good news, the video we introduced of my wife, and I'm making love and her there so quiet and inert, took first place in the silent film division. Second piece of good news is based on her acting and performance in that, my wife was put up for the Best Acting Award by a mime. And the third piece of good news from that is based on her acting performance and how well the movie did, my wife signed a modeling contract with a company that makes mannequins. So let's catch up on the news. The Smithsonian Institute just announced in its magazine they found remnants of snacks beneath the Roman Colosseum that were 1,900 years old. Seriously, it's in the magazine. It's good news and bad news. The good news, the Twinkies have still not hit the expiration date. The bad news, the fruitcake still tastes the same. Thank you. It's great to be back in D.C. I was born in D.C. I grew up in D.C. I went to law school, and I love the city. And what I love the most is when I come back and visit, when people think that I still live here. Like tonight, when I was walking to the show, someone came up to me and asked if I knew where they could buy some crack cocaine. What a cool way to meet Hunter Biden. But I was talking to his father, and I said, Mr. President, with the election coming next year, a lot of people are worried because they think that the reason that President Obama made the American people so happy was he had experience washing in hands like you, and you're relying on AOC, who was a bartender, and Bernie Sanders, who was a carpenter, for advice. And he said, well, Jonathan, that's just my plan to make the American people happy. And I said, well, how is getting your policy information from someone who used to pound boards and someone who used to sling drinks going to make the American people happy? And he said, because my son Hunter is always happiest after he's nailed a cocktail waitress. And I said, well, Mr. President, what about the new book coming out about Hunter and the prostitutes, the drugs? And he said, stop right there. My son Hunter has never been accused of impersonating a member of Congress.